Okay. From Kalamazoo, Michigan, this is the Block Paper Print Livestream series. Episode 3, Reclaim the Valentine's Day card. I have to say, I'm a little bit nervous about this episode, a little bit worried. Valentine's Day has always been a double-edged sword for me, and I imagine a lot of people like me. We love making cards. We love expressing how we feel. We don't feel like we need a unofficial commercialized holiday to do it for us, to tell us when to do it on a particular day of the week, tell us what to buy and what symbols to use, do we? That part has always seemed a little bit forceful. And that's why I really want to spend an evening with you reclaiming the Valentine's Day card. So this is our agenda for tonight. It's about 25 minutes with plenty of room for questions. And I'm going to lead us, because I'm going to do it too, through an art making activity where we're going to brainstorm creating imagery for a Valentine's Day card that truly means something to us and the people we want to give it to. And after that, I'm going to show you some examples of ways that I've used some modern symbolism and imagery drawn from the past to express feelings of connection. Originally, I wanted to do a top 5 prints all about love. And while I still want to do that top 5, it's not going to happen tonight. I want to work out some copyright issues with the images I want to show, make sure all my bases are covered before I show them publicly. So stay tuned. I will be showing some of my favorite artists that create prints about love, but just not tonight. So all you need for this first activity is a pencil, pen, Sharpie, and paper. It can be back of the envelope even. You can even just sit and watch along as I do the activity if you don't have those things close by. And after we do that first activity, I'm going to show you how you can transform it into a fully realized series of prints. So here we go. I'm going to jump into my desk view here. I have my notes. And I'm going to start out with a mind map. So I'm going to create, there we go, a mind map. And the word for this mind map is really going to be modern romance. Right? So I'm just going to write it down in the center of this sheet here. And if you're not quite sure what a mind map is, if you've never done one before, it's basically a visual brain dump. So you put your theme in the center of the sheet, and then you just write all the associations of that theme around it. So for example, when I think about modern romance, what do I conjure up, right? I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes, play some fun music, and just brainstorm everything that comes to my head as I think about modern romance. So I'm going to go to my Open Music Archive here, play some music. Set my timer, and hopefully you're going to start doing this with me. So as I write these out, these seem pretty related. So I'm just gonna make a little tree branch. Fire, love, hearts. These kind of feel like symbolism to me, right? So I'll might write symbols. Make this the symbol tree. as you will. These right here are starting to feel more like, I don't know, feelings, right? Secrecy, vulnerability, imperfection. These are almost kind of like, this is like the physical environment, right? The physical setting. So I have 3 cool branches here, right? This was feelings. This is environment. And I have about 30 seconds left to finish this off. Okay. So that was 3 minutes. That went really fast. And you can see all these different types of ideas that I was able to pull into, my brainstorming session in just 3 minutes. And just as a reminder, why we made this brainstorming session, it's really to generate ideas for cards, right? So we start using, translating our ideas into words and just brain dumping them. And to me, this is so much more meaningful than just buying a store-bought card, right? That is kind of a slog. We're looking for a professional illustrator, a professional copywriter company to tell us how we want someone else to feel about us, right? That takes so much time and effort. It's not exactly fun. But doing 3 minutes of just thinking about what modern romance means to us, what it means to be romantic, in the present day, this is kind of exciting. I came up with a lot of things I wouldn't have normally thought of before. And after you do this brainstorming step, the next step is to turn it into imagery. Basically, just translate the words into pictures. And that itself is a lot of fun too. This is a recurring theme in all my live streams, I feel like, right? Just we start this ideation process, what it is we want to communicate, we brain dump it, and then in the next step, we start drawing it out in pictures. Now, in modern romance, the way we tend to communicate, of course, is through emojis. And emojis, just like Valentine's Day, are very glossy. They're manufactured. I feel like we could call them cliche. Maybe they are cliche. But I think that's kind of a good thing. Because when we look at emojis, they are instantly communicating to us, right? We know what they mean, or we can interpret what they mean as soon as we look at them. So what I have here printed out are the most popular emojis in the year 2022 so far. And some of these are just long-standing ones, right? We have this smiley face. We have the fire. We have this face with the hearts. I love that one. An airplane for travel. It's Year of the Tiger, so this one we have showing up as well. We have now a gender neutral couple. Yay! Anyone can use this. Doesn't matter, what gender you are, or what sexual orientation you prescribe to. It doesn't matter. We can just use it. It's a symbol. Two people in love. Hooray! Hearts, sparkles. So they may feel cliche because we see them all the time, but honestly, we use them and they hold power. And even though they're symbols, they're also have secret symbols, right? Because you can send a fire to someone and it can have completely different meaning, right, to that person if you send it to someone else, right? So the same symbol can mean two different things based on the person you send it to, based on that context. So think for a moment, if you were to send this fire to, let's say, someone in your family, someone that you have an interest in dating, a longtime friend, someone you just met, what are the different ways this symbol, what are the different ways they can react to it? There are a lot of different ways, I feel like. So that's the power with emojis. They're not cliche. They are instantly relatable and they're full of meaning. They are cliche in one sense, though. And that is the sense that someone else has made them for us and they're glossy and they're commercial. We didn't draw these symbols. Someone drew them for us, just like those cards that we pick out on the Valentine's holiday card aisle when you go to Walmart or any other market. But you can definitely use the emojis as a starting point, just like we did with this mind map here. And so that's the next exercise. We're going to use these emojis to start drawing a card. Okay? So I'm going to pick a few out based on my mind map here. And I suggest you do the same as you follow along. So under modern romance, I have fire. Okay, that makes sense. Fire, love, can be both of these. I do have a heart. I'm not going to use the heart though. Let's see, no tech, dim lights, no distractions. I think all this stuff is really important. If I look at my emojis, I might use this guy, this little worried face. I love this worried face emoji. It's so funny because these things are so hard to do. It's so hard to put your phone away and give your full attention to someone. It's so hard to dim the lights and just get rid of the distractions. Those things worry me, right? So I have these two emojis, this worried face and the fire. I think I can start with those. And I'm just going to put these away. And so the next 5 minutes of this exercise, I'm going to create a card based on these two emojis. So I have this paper here. I have my mind map for reference. I'm going to put on some of that fun open source music. Let's set this over here. Okay, so like I said before, I'm going to set my music. There we go. I like it. And not even thinking, I'm just going to start making a card based on this imagery. So I have some colored pencils here as well. And we'll set my timer for 3 minutes. And as I draw this card, I'm not looking at the actual card, what I'm drawing. I'm looking at this emoji, this fire one, because, well, I want this to feel natural. I want to feel imperfect. I want to feel vulnerable. I don't want a perfect fire drawing. That's boring. We already have a perfect fire drawing here. So I want to draw something fun and weird. So this neat little fire outline. Just going to start coloring it in with this yellow. And this is just so therapeutic, right? If you're going along with me on this, it's just so much better than actually picking on a card. You know, in the Victorian age, in the 19th century, even the early 20th century, people would pour hours into making cards. And not only did they pour hours into making cards, they would add puzzles. They would add secret symbols. They had a lot of fun doing it. It was a true labor of love. I don't even like using the word labor. You know, they would make pop-up cards, origami cards that you unfolded. Wow, so I'm down to less than a minute, and I need to add this extra emoji. "20 seconds left." All right, that's it. Oh no, we didn't have the music going. I'm so sorry. Still learning how to use the StreamYard stuff, but there were some really fun, funky jams going on. But you can see I have this crazy card. I didn't even look at it half the time. What is going on here? But you know what? Whatever is happening in this card and whatever you come up with is going to be a whole lot more interesting than any professional illustrator that is drawing something cute and clever. Because their objective is to get you to buy the card, right? Not tell your feelings. You're looking for something that can communicate your feelings. That's your objective, right? You're trying to find from a selection. Their objective, the card maker, the commercial card maker, is to create something cute and clever that will get you to buy it. So if I were to just deconstruct this card really quick, and oh gosh, I might have to drink some wine for this. Ooh, that's good. Bona box. If I was to deconstruct this card, look at the mind map and these images that I created here, well, I do have this fire in the center, and it's by far the largest shape. So maybe that means like the fire of passion, right? The fire of desire, fire of love. Then I do have this worried face, fear, right? I love this worried emotion. This is like me constantly, all the time. I should just like send this after all my texts. but I made this smaller and there's a lot of them. So what does that even mean? I wasn't even thinking about this when I started it, but it just means there's a lot of fear, right? A lot of worry, but it's tiny. And maybe because the fire is bigger, it outburns that, right? And so you can have a lot of fun reading into these. And these cards can even be a conversation starter for, the person you're giving them to. That's how I really see it. A card is a conversation. A piece of artwork is a conversation. Now, where do you go from here? So far, we've done the brainstorm. We've done the mind map. We have found some emojis to support the feelings that we want to communicate in our card. And we started drawing them as a thumbnail in our card. And then we started to deconstruct them in a very weird way. So here's where you can go next. Well, you can turn them into block printed cards. So for example, here's one I did as an example a few years ago. Let's Dance, that's, of course, from David Bowie, my hero. One of his famous songs, and this is like the emoji salsa dancer. And it's just a fun card. This is a block print, right? Here's the block right here. So just like I did this exact same exercise, except I came up with the salsa dancer and then block printed her and then made some text, and it was a lot of fun. Let's see, I have some fire here. Yep, here's the fire lino block that I made for the card, the envelope right here. So even these, right, you can kind of freestyle and paste them around like so, right? You can print one here, you can print one here. That's what I did with this card, right? I didn't even register it. I just kind of placed these where I wanted to and then made this text and printed that as well. So something like this can translate really well to a card, right? You can leave this open and we can do more on the inside. And I made a lot of these emoji calling cards, as I like to call them. So here's all these ones. And here's the David Bowie one, the Aladdin Sane emoji. I loved it when Apple came out with that. So I carved that one, right? These are all carved out. Right, a whole bunch of them. Here's another one of those love emoji ones that Apple made that I think are really great. So you can take your images and turn them into lino blocks. And even when you're starting with this really superficial emoji, right, commercial, sleek, glossy, you can turn it into something handmade. So these are like the imperfect handmade ones that are 1,000 times more interesting than, right, these perfectly computer image made ones. Now, check this out. I'm going to show you some examples. Some other examples for you to consider. Right? Again, we think of hearts as superficial and cliche, but that's just because for centuries, they are just really the perfect symbol to express how we feel. And they can take on so many different meanings. So these are X photos. X photos are kind of like they're tangible prayers in Spanish Catholic tradition. And it's kind of like invoking, I'm not Spanish Catholic, of course, but as I understand them through my research, it's as if that you're channeling your prayer into a tangible object, right? And that object, the shape, the image of that object signifies the outcome that you'd like in your prayer. So of course we have this heart burning bright, and I would not call this cliche at all. I would call this a very beautiful image, and it's like hundreds of years old. Let's see. So if we go to this next one here, here's another example too of a Spanish Catholic milagro. And again, we have this heart, we have all these burning lines radiating from the inside. If I go back to my mind map and look at those words of like desire and passion and love and hearts, it's all right here, and it happened centuries ago. And even when we look at the emojis, it's the same thing, right? It's just like a digital version, but this piece was made by hands, right? We can tell it's made by human hands. And here's a whole bunch of them. I love these. I really encourage you to just zoom in and look at them. These ex votos, these milagros became a really big inspiration for a series of artwork that I did, in which I would recreate them in woodcuts, but add these technological elements to them, and give them to people as encouragement to, maybe like distance themselves a bit from their personal devices. So I'm going to show you some more of those right here, right? So we have like the heart, which you instantly recognize. That's battery life. Technology can be really draining for us sometimes. And so I would give that heart one to someone that, I felt like was being drained by social media, for example. And then reception, the one with the reception bar, so the person kneeling down. That's one that I made, based on milagros again. If I go back, there we go. You can see the person kneeling down, praying, right? To me, it's very much like the same stance as you holding a phone, right? Praying for good reception. Please let me keep in contact with this person. So again, even though these symbols seem really cliche, it's not necessarily cliche when it's made by hand and it has like a meaning towards it. So here's some more, right? I turned them into these woodblock prints. And so again, going from an idea, right, to a little bit of like visual inspiration to a fully realized card or print that you can give to somebody. And so I encourage you to make these own. And so I've done several versions of like these reception prints and these prints about privacy and work-life balance. And all these are just drawn from this traditional emoji imagery. This isn't necessarily Valentine's Day related, of course, but it is an example of how you can take something very commercial and cliche, like an emoji, like a Valentine's Day card, and really infuse, powerful meaning into it. I'm not saying my work is really, really powerful, but you get the idea. So, this this live stream is all about reclaiming the Valentine's Day card. Stop shopping for Valentine's Day cards at Walmart and Target. Make your own. It's easy. Draw a mind map. Find some universal symbols to represent your feelings. Draw them on a card. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support the show, just scroll down in the comments and you can find a link to support me through $3, $5, or $1. Every little bit helps. Also, I'll be starting March 6th, the first weekend of March, the first Sunday, a 6-week lino cut for artists course. It is a deep dive into the lino cut printmaking process. So whether you're just getting started with lino cut or you already know the process and you really want to push yourself and learn how to do multicolor registration, the reduction technique, and even how to get your lino cuts out in the world so other people can see them, the true purpose of making prints in the first place, then sign up for my 6-week course. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. So this is Charles Coates from Kalamazoo, Michigan, signing off.